Well, no one's using it.
Well, at the time that was like one of the most busiest naval facilities in the world, wasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, they were running ships in and between there and there
Midway,
and the shipyard,
Hunter's Point.
Hunters Point. That was Hunters Point is in the Bronx. That was one of the busiest places. That and Richmond is what I was trying to think of.
The Richmond Boat Yards.
Henry J. Kaiser.
Find a need and fill it.
Exactly. People that go to Kaiser Healthcare don't realize that without Henry J., who by accident invented his own healthcare system because he didn't want to pay the high prices of doctors in those days.
He was a member of the Kaiser medical plan before that's what it was called.
Well, yeah, that's when it was called his checkbook. I mean, pretty much, you wouldn't have. Well, I mean, at the time that all came about, no employers were given medical health plans and things like that. I mean, that was an unheard of benefit.
The American way of medical care in those days was bring out your dead.
Well, yeah. Well, it's pretty much still that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you're really not much different than that. Let's see. What do we have here? We're having trouble streaming to Facebook this morning. All right. So if you are, well, if they can't stream to Facebook, you wouldn't be hearing us. So I would say that your best way on Facebook to get our show is to go to YouTube. And I'm going to right now, here in a second, put up the on Facebook. I'm going to try to do this while we're talking. Put up the what would you call it? The QR code, so that you will be able to get us on
YouTube.
Yes, thank you. And I would really suggest that you try to get us on YouTube every day. That you forget about Facebook and just go to. I know Facebook is a nice reminder, but the reality is that the best way to get us is just go to the YouTube channel and find us there. We put a QR code up, and I know it's getting out on Facebook, so I'm not going to worry about it as much because my stepmom just sent me a notice saying that she's watching. So we're in good shape.
And we thank you for that.
But we are. What was I looking for? Yeah, that it is a. Anyway, how was your time off, Michael? How was your weekend? How was your?
A lot of baseball. Bo, my grandson, was playing in a tournament, and there's a lot of ball. The type of tournaments where you win one, then you play another one. And
yeah.
So he had games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It was a busy family, and the busy parents taking the kids all over the place and getting those uniforms clean in between games. It's
that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
It's nothing but irony that the boys' home uniforms were white pants, white shirts. You have to imagine how often a 6 or 7 year old hits the deck in his white uniform. during 3 days of baseball. You get a pretty dirty uni.
Well, that's why you have guys named Dirty Al Gallagher.
Just this is the guy I was thinking of. I wondered if there was a Met equivalent to Dirty Al. Dirty Al was the third baseman for the Giants in the 70s, and Dirty Al earned his name by he could play pepper and get dirty. He would be filthy. You wouldn't be able to see the word Giants on his chest or his number on his back, because Dirty Al would be true to his name, dirty. Now, did the Mets have a dirty guy? Joe Pignatano covered in his own tomato juices.
John Stearns is one of the guys that come to mind when you talk about guys who were always mixing it up in the dirt. Dude, as he was known, John Stearns was a guy who his uniform was dirty, and in the late 70s and 80s, I could safely say that there probably wasn't a lot of Mets getting their uniforms dirty.
It's because they were big city kids who wanted to look right.
No, it just weren't. They weren't a good team. No sense in getting your uniform dirty if you're not going to be playing good baseball. And they played horrible baseball. They were a bad team.
Giants are emulating your Mets now in the very same way that you're talking about. We don't have anybody with a dirty uniform, and I think the last 15 games we've won 8 and lost 9, something like that.
Yeah,
not inspiring.
It doesn't look like it's. I mean, from what I've seen of the Giants and just kind of, not following every day, just some cursory looks at stuff. It doesn't look like there's a lot of life there.
Not inspiring.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's got anything, there's just anybody that. I mean, one of the bad things about the Giants is they swing at everything. I was delving into some numbers on walks and things yesterday, and that's a team that doesn't know how to take a walk. I think, I may be wrong, but I think they have the least number of walks in the league.
Yeah, I believe so.
And they just swing. It just seems like they swing. It seems like they got a bus to catch. When
is it a crosstown bus or something more?
Well, my favorite coach in the entire world, that I personally had interactions with, was Mr. Phil Favicchio. From the Silk Sox Boys Club in Astoria, New York. Phil Favicchio was our coach. And when you would get up Mr. Favicchio, Mr. Phil, as we called him, was not much for instruction, he wasn't a baseball guy. He was a mail carrier whose son was on the team, and none of the fathers wanted to volunteer to fill out the lineup card. So Mr. Phil was the manager, and Mr. Steve, I believe it was the as evidenced by the fact that they didn't even want to be called coach. Anyway, Phil Favicchio's favorite thing to yell out of the dugout when you would be a kid and get up there and you were trying to emulate the big leaguers. So you'd get in the batter's box and you'd swing at the first 3 pitches you see. And there would always be Mr. Phil screaming, "What are you trying to catch, a bus?" And you knew to slow the pace down a little bit. Step out of the box. Don't let the kid throw a couple of pitches at you, and the next thing you know, you're in an 0-2 count. Not that the kids that were 11 years old were thinking about that all that much, but it was um, certainly on his mind. And
One of the aspects of these 6 and 7-year-olds playing ball is that they too will swing at bad pitches. One way to get around that is make them take the first pitch. Nobody swings at the first pitch. Watch the ball. Look at your stance. What would you have done if you had swung at it? Where is that ball located? How would you swing to make contact? But don't swing. Surmise the situation. Look at the ball. Do what Ted Williams did. He watched the rotation of the pitch. He knew where it was going. He knew if it was a breaking pitch. He knew how to proceed. He knew how to put the bat on the ball. But one thing you got to do is look at the ball, follow it in, don't swing. Have the presence of mind to just learn from that pitch and then hit the next one out of the park.
yeah, we didn't have much of that. We had people that were more concerned about getting over to George the hot dog guy first when the last pitch was thrown. I mean, it was. There were some people that were really into it on our team, but you know what? Our team was doing it for fun. Our team was doing it for. It kept the kids off the street for a few hours a week. So we just didn't. We weren't that professional about it.
What about practice? How many times did the
We
team get
practiced
together?
once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think our games. Well, it depends. We had two. What did Silk Sox have? Did Silk Sox have 2 games a week or one? I forget now. One of the leagues I belonged to. For a while, I belonged to 2 leagues, and one of the leagues had 2 games a week, and one of them had 1. And I was, but one of them, for some reason, I don't know. I think I wound up playing 3 games a week and a couple of practices. So
that's a busy week for a kid.
Yeah, and for most kids that were in those 2 particular little leagues, which was Silk Sox was the guys in Astoria, Elm Jack were the guys in Jackson Heights. The Elm Jack guys were the guys that were much more serious about it. Those were the kids that the parents, and they had to. I mean, we had better uniforms though. I will always say that if there's one garment of clothing that I would love to find from my past would be the uniform of the 1966, 67 probably Silk Sox Braves, because we spent money. I forget how much those uniforms were. Well, I don't forget. I just didn't know. My father bought the thing. But it was a stunningly beautiful uniform. It had red piping on it. We were the Braves. So we had every team had the same uniform in that we had the same button front jersey, piping around the collar and then down the front. And then the team you were on was the first letter of the team. So we were Braves. So we were red and white with a red B on the uniform. The Tigers was an orange, and they had a T. And I think so. I think we had 8 teams in the league. So anyway, but the uniforms were beautiful. I mean, they were really nicely done. That the pants fit nice. We had the stirrup socks that were fit beautifully. The whole deal was you looked 10 times better than you played, and we had a great.
That's a good start, though. Could look right to win.
But as far as as learning about the game and stuff, that you got more from the Elm Jack coaches because they were into it. And then a couple of times a year on the Silk Sox side, they would have a coach come in or a friend, somebody that knew baseball come in, and they'd give us a little bit of instruction. And the fathers would give us a little bit of stuff, but really, it wasn't that intense. It wasn't like I'm sure Boget's, has different fathers and they all know baseball and they all, they carry the bags with the bats. And, we basically had a bat and a glove that, wood bat with a glove, and you put the glove on the bat and you stuck it over your shoulder and you rode your bike down to the field with one hand.
Yep.
No helmet, no nothing. That's how you got to Boulevard Field, which is where we played, which was behind the Boulevard Watch Company, which is now a Home Depot. And I shed a tear every time I go past that site when I go back to New York, and I think that I used to play baseball on that, on that parking lot. And they had one of the final last tracts of land down there at 25th Avenue and Booty Street. And it was they had, I think, 6 diamonds on there. And then they had the Silk Sox seniors, and they played over at St. Mike's. But that was it. I mean, you didn't have the elaborate stuff that you have today, or travel teams. We didn't travel. We traveled. You traveled anywhere you went. You traveled on a bike. That was how you got places.
Didn't have to take the train to a game.
No, we didn't take trains. We didn't take buses. We didn't take anything. Your father either dropped you off, you walked, or you took your bike. Most kids, it was bike because Silk Sox, SILKSOX, Silk Sox Little League was Silk Sox Boys Club is actually what it was called. And there was no boys club. There was never a Silk Sox Boys Club. There was just a Little League. But we didn't have any. Yeah, we didn't. It wasn't. But yet it was a lot of fun. We just had fun. We just went out there and played and just had a good time. Went to a couple of Mets games a year with all the kids. We went as a Little League, and I remember one year kids went to the. It's in the upper deck with the midget Mets, and we all brought Spalding balls that we could throw down onto the rich people. Watch the balls bounce off of people's heads. Billy Ushers came and threw us out. But it's a different thing now, and I suspect for Bo, it's a lot more serious. There's a lot more money invested, a lot more time invested. I don't know which is better.
I think it's best if you can say years later that you had fun.
That's exactly it, Michael.
Because there are some teams that are winning teams that are not a pleasure to be on because of the attitude or the pressure or the insistence that you be a winner, that you be error-free, that you only produce wins for the team.
Yeah.
That's no way to be 7 years old.
Yeah. And I've seen my godson, nephew, was on some teams like that. And I distinctly remember when it stopped being fun for him. Because we had a long talk about it at the time. And it really kind of broke my heart a little bit because, I mean, I love baseball so much, and I wanted him to have that same feeling about baseball. And he did for a long time, but I think just the idiot coaches,
peanut gallery,
turned it into a chore.
A hostile environment.
Yeah, turned it into something that shouldn't have been. And I think that was always, to me, always sad, because I think, and I suspect he wasn't the only one that
All in the name of winning.
Yeah, that it's all that. All of these different people have to, have to their wants and desires have to be served instead of the kids who really, they want a hot dog and a soda after the game.
That's right. And they really look forward to it. It's not a little thing. It's important. It's part of the ritual.
Right. Right. It's part. Yeah. It's not. You're not. I mean, and again, I know that there are teams, and I realize that there are teams. I know California is a place like that.
Sure.
Where everybody thinks their kid's going to be the next Jeff Burrows, or the next Keith Hernandez, or the next whatever.
Tito Fuentes.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah. As opposed to just going out and having fun playing the game. But we can go into do hours on different things. It's funny. I watch this now with my brother's kids, to a certain degree, and I'm not there every day, so I don't know the dynamics. But they sure look like they're having a lot of fun playing football. It doesn't seem like it's a league where you are. You have to win at all costs, or that ESPN mentality hasn't creeped into it yet. And it looks like they're having fun. I hope that Bo's getting the same experience, that he loves it, and that people don't do anything to take that love away from it. So if he shows up with a dirty uniform once or twice, just start calling him Dirty Bo.
Dirty Bo Gallagher.
Dirty Bo Gallagher. That's it. And he's ready to fly. I used to show up with a dirty uniform at times. I remember a couple of times. My mom just didn't have the time to get my uniform clean. And for some godforsaken reason, I wasn't allowed to operate the washing machine. I think it was the fact that I put a bunch of toys in there at some point.
That might have been part of
to
it.
Clean them.
You need a toy cleaning episode in your youth. It wouldn't be young Vinnie without that.
I had a few episodes like that. I remember painting my father's tools.
Well, what color?
Red. Yep. He made the mistake of bringing some red paint down into the basement and leaving it under the workbench, and his tools on top. And I don't know, 4-year-old Vinnie figured out how to open up a paint can, and I thought I would do Daddy a favor and paint his tools for him.
These tools could be red, and I'm going to see to it.
Well, I saw that the one pipe wrench was red, and I said, that looked pretty good. Maybe we can make all the tools that color.
And Dad will know where his tools are. He'll know those are his tools.
Well, you know what? For several years, I knew where his tools were. As a matter of fact, I know where the damn tools are right now. And he's been gone for 20 years, 25 years.
Oh.
That's
hilarious.
You come up with this kind of stuff, and so you followed baseball around all weekend, and
the kid can hit.
So he got some hits.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. His ability with the bat. In fact, before he was on a team, you could just see playing with him in the backyard that he had the swing. He had that natural swing. He had a natural golf swing and a natural baseball swing. And it's quite impressive to see him know that he's going to go up and get a hit. He's got confidence and playing first base. So we got a first baseman power hitter on the team, Vin.
Nothing but awesome, man. I mean, that's a great thing to for a young kid to go and have a good time while he's playing, and look forward to getting those hits. I mean, I don't, listen, I don't know that there's a better feeling for a young man until you have sex for the first time, of getting a base hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is when you're that age, and somehow you sneak that ball through the infield and it rolls out there into the outfield. It's quite a feeling.
They don't have to tell you to run anymore. You figure it out. After you hit the damn ball, you run.
Yeah, once you make that connection of the crack of the bat to
personal
put yourself in
responsibility.
motion.
Yeah.
And you figure out how to untangle your feet from the batting stance to the running, and you're moving up the line. Whether you're moving up fast or slow, it doesn't matter. The trick is that you get up there and you get that hit and you're safe and you beat the ball out, or usually you watch some kid out in left field dicking with the ball, trying to catch up to it or find it or looking around. The best thing you can see when you're running up the first baseline is you're looking out in the outfield and there's some kid going like this.
Trouble in the outfield means you got a double now.
I mean, and the coach is going like this at first base.
Run, you idiot.
Keep going, man. And you make the turn, I don't know, a quarter mile out into the outfield. You pass the right fielder on the way to second base.
Notice you took quite a bit of liberties with the base path as you rounded third. Some of those kids go way wide.
Yeah, it's a tough cut to make. That's probably. I mean, I don't know if it's the toughest, but it's
that's another thing to learn is how to run the bases and how to allow for your speed helping you turn at third rather than going straight.
Right, you try to go for that inside corner of the bag as opposed to running to the back of the bag, which is one thing that kids don't learn until further on in their baseball careers. You probably don't learn it until, I don't know, that they're so concerned about getting you to first that they don't worry about you getting to third. Oh man. So well, that was, I didn't watch much baseball over the weekend. The Mariners were in Sacramento, and I have to make it a point this year of getting to a game in Sacramento. I did not get there last year for some reason, but I do want to go this year.
I get the impression you can walk up and buy a ticket. Is that right?
Oh, I think it depends on who's there. Now, I didn't get that impression for the Mariner games. It appeared to me that the Mariner games were pretty well sold out, but there's a lot of people in a lot of Seattle people that live in Northern California, vice versa. So, but yeah, if you're going to go see the Royals and the A's on a Tuesday night, you're probably not going to have too much of a problem getting a ticket.
But if the Red Sox or Yankees are in town,
yeah, because it's a place where, especially Red Sox fans, Yankee fans, Met fans, Chicago fans are going to go use that as a vacation and go out to Sacramento, because you have the, you can hit Sacramento and you go out there, and then you can go up to Seattle and catch a couple of games if you're, if you're following a team. The Yankees especially, they seem to travel. That's a trip
Yeah,
for Yankee fans.
it's a scene.
Yeah, and especially if you can time it when it used to be a lot easier because the A's were in Oakland, so you could go and catch maybe the Mets and the Giants and the Yankees and the A's and not leave San Francisco, then get on I-5 and go down and catch a couple of more games. It was a popular trip in New York, a popular vacation.
Are the A's the most traveled franchise, starting in Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland, Las Vegas?
Oh, good question.
There was the Boston Browns.
Yeah, the Bostons. I mean, you would have to think, because they went Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
So maybe the Braves. The A's went Philly to Kansas City, to Oakland, to Sacramento, and then to Vegas. So they might be in terms of distance between cities that they played. I don't know. And now I was watching something last week sometime that talked about expansion for baseball and how Oakland might be on the list of possible expansion franchises. I don't know how you would do that. I think it's just I don't know how you figure that you would put an expansion franchise in Oakland.
Because you're right back with the stadium problem that plagued the A's for so long.
Yeah, it's not going to get fixed. It seems to me that Oakland had their opportunity to do something, and they dicked around with it for how many years? They had chances. Again, I will always put the blame on the Giants for a lot of the woes, because the Giants were supposed to have that territory for a certain amount of time and then give it back, and then they didn't. And who knows what the reality is? As Judge Judy always says, get it in writing.
And bring your paperwork to court.
Yeah. I mean, it appears that the lawyers for the A's were sleeping on the job because, depending on who you believe, the Giants were only supposed to have that concession to San Jose for a certain amount of time, and then they would have to give it back in a certain amount of time. But obviously, they didn't feel like that was necessary once they decided that they were staying, and they always wanted that card to pull out on San Francisco when they didn't get when they were having trouble getting a ballpark built. So I don't know, but I think that unfortunately they didn't do the right thing, which would have been to keep the A's there and let them build a ballpark in San Jose. Well, what are they going to do? Build two ballparks?
So San Jose on the list too? The list that Oakland's on for expansion?
I don't remember. I did not see them on the expansion list because the Giants control the territory.
What other cities are on that list for expansion possibilities?
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can remember. Charlotte.
Not a major league city.
Well, a lot of people think it is. Charlotte, Raleigh. That's one I don't think is a major league city. Nashville, San Antonio,
Mhm.
I believe. Let me see if I can remember who else. Orlando. I don't know how you would even consider putting a third team in Florida when you can't
So
get
close to Tampa.
the two teams that are there to work. Portland, Vancouver, which are always two names that are trotted out. Trying to think of where else that was on Maury's list. Actually, was a good article in Forbes about expansion. I'm going to see if I can call it up here um, and actually do the MLB expansion. Let's yeah, it's Montreal is in there.
That's a good idea. Montreal and Vancouver, get them both in there.
Okay, here's the list. The list in alphabetical order: Charlotte, North Carolina; Montreal, Quebec; Oakland, California; Nashville, Tennessee; Orlando, Florida; Portland, Oregon; Raleigh, North Carolina; Sacramento, California; Salt Lake City, Utah; and Vancouver, BC. So,
And they would have to
those are
come
the
up
ones.
with one for the East, one for the West.
Well, that's another thing. Is are they going to realign Major League Baseball so they wouldn't necessarily have to have one in the East and one in the West? I think that you know what it's going to come down to, I think, who puts up the billions of dollars. I don't know that it would make sense to have one in the East and one in the West. That would make the most sense.
The baseball
But
doesn't always make sense.
yeah, I don't know that it would really geographically matter to baseball. I think they want to get the cash. They want to get the money while they can get the money. And as Sid Caesar said in Vegas Vacation, the money, the money, the money, the money, the money. I mean, I guess out of all of
In
these,
case you think it's about baseball, it's not. It's about money.
no, it's about the money. Out of the 10 cities listed here, I would say Nashville is probably the number one favorite.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think
As long
that
as
that
they,
would
as long as those uniforms say Nashville on them, not Tennessee.
yeah.
They're making the Tennessee Titans, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah,
There
no,
are no
don't.
Titans in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, let's not try that. I would probably go Nashville is my favorite. Salt Lake City
Mm-hmm.
probably has a pretty good chance, except I wonder in a place like Salt Lake City if there's oversaturation of pro sports teams in the market. They now have a basketball and a hockey team. How much money is there for pro? It's not a $2 ticket anymore. It's expensive.
And they have to be called the Bees.
Be nice. So I would go. I would probably go here. Nashville, Salt Lake City. I think that there is Charlotte probably third, Montreal probably fourth, I don't know that I really see Portland getting a team. I just think between the Giants and the Mariners, how would you let that happen?
No room.
I mean, really, how would you let that happen? If you were the Giants or the Mariners, how would you say it's a good idea to put a team between those two cities?
What about Vancouver, BC? Is it too close to Seattle, or is it a natural rivalry that should be taken advantage of?
Well, they tried the natural rivalry stuff with the Grizzlies, and that turned into a disaster. That was a I don't know how it failed, why it failed. There was money behind it, uh, but it failed miserably. And I don't know I mean, Vancouver's a great city. It's a much more cosmopolitan city than Seattle will ever hope to be. Um, there's tons of money up there.
Yes.
I think the Blue Jays own that market, and I would have to think that it would be a tough sell for any team to go in there and pry out away from the Blue Jays. Um, I think they got the money. I think they got the stadium. Although,
They have a suitable stadium already.
well, yeah, that dome stadium that they have, BC Place, has been fully remodeled. Is a great place. It's right downtown. Now, some people say that you could put an outdoor baseball stadium where on that island where not Granville Island, but the one. It's not even really an island. It's an extension that they built out where Expo 86 was in Vancouver. That there's enough room there to put a stadium on the waterfront and kind of design it in the same way that the San Francisco Stadium is designed, where you could hit balls out into the
Water.
water. I forget
What about the idea that they'd be better off playing more games in an indoor stadium because of the weather?
Well, I think you would probably, well, with retractable with the way stadiums are built these days.
Yeah, some means to ensure you don't have a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean, I
rainouts
think
in the season.
anything new would have to have a retractable roof.
Mhm.
Um, the climate there is fairly temperate. I mean, it's a nicer climate than Seattle. It's warmer. It's they benefit from those the currents, the warm Pacific currents that make their way in there. So I think weather-wise, that they would want a retractable roof if they built a new stadium. But again, you build a new stadium, you're talking um, way over $1 billion. You know, up there with the way property and stuff is, maybe $2 billion. It's whacked out. I mean, the numbers are whacked out. So, the other ones, Montreal. I mean, I think there's a lot of sentimental value for Montreal. They couldn't go back to the old Stade Olympique. That's done. So they would have to. They talk about for Montreal a new downtown stadium. Um,
Well,
Jarry Park is still available. I mean, it's still at the um, the structure of a stadium is still there. I think they use it for tennis now. But the bare bones, the swimming pool is still there. That was out in right field. that I believe Willie Stargell has the most balls hit into that swimming pool. I'm pretty sure that Willie Stargell.
No statue for Ron Fairley.
You know, yeah, don't even get me started on that. I think that's such a bullshit thing that Ron Fairley didn't get honored by the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, when you think of what Ron Fairley did, for Canadian baseball and what he meant to Canadian baseball, not only winning, being on both expansion teams, but being an all-star from both expansion teams, and also being in the College World Series representing Canada. I mean, but for whatever reason, and believe you me, I mean, I tried to talk to people up there to get them to put him in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and they didn't do it. They were just too, and they were smug about it. So I don't know what the problem was with Ron Fairley and the Canadians. So I don't think Raleigh is a contender. I don't know that Sacramento is a contender.
I don't see it.
You know,
I just don't see it.
But yeah, if you were to say to me, I guess it would be 2032. Just trying to see of what of if there was a projected date in here. Yeah, I think it's 2032 would be the earliest that these potential teams would play.
And this fee that you pay to Major League Baseball, $2 billion. What's it going to be? Or
Yeah,
more?
2 to 2.5 billion probably. I think that's the number you're going to have to. So you have to come up with 2 to 2.5 billion for an expansion fee, 1 to 2 billion for a ballpark. I don't know what the appetite is going to be for participation in a civic funded ballpark. You might get some infrastructure like Vegas. You might get them to build an exchange, a parking garage, stuff like that. Maybe a light rail link to a ballpark or something
maybe
like
a
that.
ballroom. You could build a ballroom right on the side of the stadium.
You could do that. That would certainly make your the idea there. Matter of fact, you move the whole damn White House next to it. Maybe they ought to put an expansion team in. By the way, speaking of sports, Howard, have you seen what they're doing on the lawn of the White House this week? Getting ready for June 14th.
Is it croquet?
No, not croquet. They are building a what is WCW? What initials is the ultimate UFC?
On the White House lawn?
On the White House lawn. Yeah. Yeah, it's they're going to hold a UFC match.
Trump likes that because it's fixed. You know he's going to win when you get out of the car in the morning.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can bet on that.
You can bet. You bet it's going to be the way I said it was. The guy who said I was going to win, he won. You bet against him. That was foolish, but we'll take your money.
Yes, it's the UFC Freedom 250. I guess is the event. June 14, 2026, the South Lawn of the White House in Washington, D.C., which
Does
is
anybody
where
still have the sleeper hold?
you know, Michael, it beats the shit out of me because I have no absolute, I have less than no interest in it. Absolutely not. I don't think I've
I
ever
do
watched a
understand.
whole freedom. What do you call it? Ultimate UFC. It's a rigged ass. Um, I don't know event. It's not real.
The holds are fake. The anger is fake. The interest is fake. The situation is fake. Right from the beginning, it's bullshit.
Yeah, the only thing that's not fake about it is the money that they draw in. I mean, they bring
The
in
tickets are real.
tons of money. And you can't tell me that Trump won't be making a ton of money. Trump himself, you know, his family will be making a ton of money off of this thing. And it's such a it's such a disrespect
Yes.
of our nation's capital. It's such a disrespect, but you know, this is the America we live in.
The new American way.
This is the country we live in. This is where we're on now. The people will look at this and think that this is a an event that represents America in 2026. And to be honest with you, they might be right.
Pretty close to accurate.
They might be right. There's no respect for. I mean, the fact that this guy was let. Well, I mean, you can go with a million things. The fact that he was let to do this or let to do that, or he could do this or do that. I mean, it's such a sad
Yeah.
chapter in our history. It's such a sad way that we're going to end our lives leaving in America when we shuffle up this coil here in however many years we have left. To look at this and think that we live to see something like this, the total disrespect of our nation's symbols.
And
And that's
every element of society has followed along with it. It's eroded and it's suffered for having to exist in the shadow of Donald Trump.
well, everything that's class, anything that's dignity, anything that's a sense of you know of what's uh, I don't know, proper society. You know, we just keep finding uh, a lower bottom to the hole.
As
Uh, I don't know. I mean, if you want to do this type of event in Las Vegas, that's what Las Vegas is built for. If you want to get this type of thing and welcome these people that love this kind of stuff into Las Vegas, God bless them.
you
But
may remember Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday in Tombstone, who in one scene said, "I have not yet begun to defile myself," and that's us. That's the situation we're in. We're an ugly representation of ourselves, but we have not yet begun to defile ourselves. There's more to come.
it scares you. It scares you because you start to say, well, what else can they do? And I actually saw that this weekend. What else can they do? You know, you asked the question, what else can they do? Well, I was thumbing through the internet as I often do on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
as well as the weekly, because I try to carry on Stephen Colbert's tradition of finding these news items that you should be aware of. And I saw a picture, an artist rendition, and I think that the person should have his artist license revoked for making this artist rendering of a what would you call it? A one of the arches that Trump wants to put up
Oh,
in
yeah.
Washington. And when you go over the bridge that heads toward Arlington National Cemetery, when you
Oh,
look
boy.
at the Arlington and the tombs that sit there of people who sacrificed their lives for this country, the idea in building and putting Arlington Cemetery where it was is that when you would drive over this bridge, you would look at this piece of hallowed ground and you would remember what was given up so that this country exists. And this clown, this this human excrement of a president wants to put an arch between that view coming over that bridge and where those so that when you look at it, you will not remember the people that sacrificed. You will forever look at it and think of how this scumbag defiled our country, and will do it as much as he possibly can.
He's not through
until the day he dies. It's a shame. It's a shame to look at it. It makes
I think if he builds it, it'll be torn down.
Bombed.
It's just a it's so sad that a place of that's supposed to be the seat of our government, that's supposed to be where we remember people that gave up so that we could enjoy the freedoms that we have,
Becomes just a
turned
site
into nothing
for
but an amusement park.
bad memories, horrible memories to see that every day driving to work, especially if you're working for the government.
It's makes my blood boil. It's just, and I look at it and I get disgusted, and more disgusted by it. And every time I think that this administration or the people that run this administration can do no more of a disgusting thing,
They come up with something.
they come up with something. They're going to give billions of dollars to the scumbags that broke into our Capitol.
Convicted criminals.
Convicted criminals who, by the way, go back and reoffend.
Yep.
These are not convicted criminals who, learned their lesson.
These are the worst of the worst that Donald Trump's talking about.
And went back to their hometowns and said, well, I'll stay away from this. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I was in the grips of a cult. Now, these are people who have figured out that, that felt good. And I'll try to do it again. And have some modicum of success doing it. It's ridiculous.
Criminal in itself.
It's it makes you just want to find a place away from it all and go there. And let somebody else solve it. Let them I don't know.
I know, Vin.
It's disgusting, and it makes my blood boil thinking about it. So that's
Well,
that's coming close to about all I got for today, Michael.
I think that that's the disgust and disappointment, and that's the word I'm looking for. The malaise that is covering everything. It's like a terrible sauce that can't be digested or eaten or consumed. It's on everything, and it has ruined this nation and our relationship with the world, economically, socially, psychologically, militarily, name any way you can. We have destroyed our reputation, destroyed our relationships, and did so willingly, purposefully, happily, thinking that there was no backside to it that we would ever have to pay for, we would ever suffer the consequences of. And the opposite is true. Everything we're doing is costing us in all those ways. And it's, disgusting. Enough of that. We both feel the same way about it, and we're not alone.
Yeah,
it's going to take a lifetime of fixing it to get it right.
Yeah, and there'll have to be smarter people than me to figure it out, because I'm starting it. When I saw this thing on the White House lawn, when I saw this this joke,
wrestling,
when I looked at this and I saw I don't know.
Everybody had a wrestling show on television when we were kids, and the guy from channel WPIX or WOR, whoever was doing it, would interview the wrestlers during the show, and their phony anger at being considered a loser or considered a less talented wrestler. I want to get in there and do some wrestling. Well, don't you have to first figure out who's going to win? Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Well, you had the lowest, the lowest of the low,
and the phony anger that the guy would muscle up, that he would brew in his own little wrestling mind, thinking that it was genuine, that people are really going to buy this. They're going to go for my anger on this one. He said my mother was a lousy cook, and I'm going to get him for it.
Yeah.
I won't rest until I have the belt. Well, of course you're going to have the belt. The belt is useless. The belt is meaningless. Anybody can have the belt. It's got to just be your turn.
Let's
see your phony anger before we go to commercial break. You can throw a folding chair, but don't hit anybody in the audience.
Yeah. That's your White House. That's what it'll look like. 2 short weeks, two plus short weeks from now.
Donald Trump throwing folding chairs on the White House lawn, while the big guys go wrestling.
June 14th. That's what you'll see on the White House lawn.
That's coming right up.
Don't forget to get your Trump coin.
Love it.
And Bible. And steak.
This is how we'll mark the 250th year since the Declaration of Independence. This is what America is about now.
It's criminal. Vinnie, have a good day. We'll see each other on Wednesday.
See you Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is.
Today's Wednesday.
The hell you say? I'll wrestle you for that.
I'll wrestle you for that. I'll throw a chair at you. You got a chair that I can throw in the house?
Of course. We
Well,
always
chuck
have
that.
one. We always keep one by the door.
All right. See you Friday. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. Mikey, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. Thank you all for listening too. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you on when will we see you on Friday? See you Friday at about 10:10 if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. Thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye now. Ay, 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 ay.